You made, say, millions of dollars?
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
Do you have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.
Look at that. Oh man, it's perfect timing. Because basically the program is based like each day, the Sunday, the Saturday and the Sunday. They both have a different theme, and today was really about all the money work, so the same. So this morning was like, in order to be one full day focused on this, it's really, of course, and with a group of people where more people are able to kind of like respond to each other and elevate each other's thinking and really dig on new things, that really helps to deepen a practice, right? Deepen your understanding of things. And the way that it was built up was also really nice, in where the first part of the morning was the money game, which it's called, and that really helped to just have this super personal experience with the things that are acting up for you in this kind of work. And then the last part of the afternoon was really about trying it in practice in a small group, with in where we were also really able to like strike gold. Like we really were able to achieve something with the three of us that were trying this stuff out together, which felt really nice. And that's basically the outline, the three phases of how the day was built up. And so if you remember, yesterday I was quite focused on, or emphasized the importance of collecting the money from the ATM, and the only information that we got from Tom was that we had to bring an amount of money which would be significant for us to feel something if you would lose it, like a meaningful amount of money to you, but that you would also would feel okay with losing. And of course that really is different for everybody entirely, like depending on their income, their attachment to it, and just that little process alone, just by paying attention of the things that you that go through your mind when you determine this, like, am I going to bring like more or less than the other people, and what does it mean for me? Like everybody had like their own experience with this. And basically the game was consisting out of several rounds, in where every time there was like a different assignment or interaction that you had to do with your money and with the other person's money, and where you were really trying to explore and experience all these different aspects of taking and receiving and giving and negotiating. Like all these different aspects were involved in it, so that you could really feel for yourself what all those different aspects do to you, all those different things, like the ingoing and the outgoing flows of money. And going through all of that was really quite revealing, and really interesting how different this is for everybody, and super useful to then start working with what you have experienced there, and to really do this money work. And then with that information in mind, to kind of know what the parts, the different aspects of it, the different dynamics of the money flows mean to you, you could really much more easily relate to the practice and have like perfect content of what you were going to talk about with each other, how you're going to treat this. And the biggest takeaway out of these 3 parts, or like the biggest takeaway from this entire day, was not as much that I this time experienced it as working on myself, but just having the experience of how amazing it can feel to help somebody else with this, to reclaim a part of them, to add to their wholeness. And I actually experienced it much more, and would like to explain it much more as a release of energy, like something was opened up, something was healed, and something could flow more freely because of it. So there was an expansive experience of being able to help somebody reclaim that aspect of themselves and heal that aspect for themselves. And just having experienced that that effect, and that you can do this or help people in such a way, that was really, I think, the biggest impression that I'm gonna leave this day with, and why I really feel even more convinced and empowered in wanting to really do more with this work. Storytelling hut. And that's the gong for dinner. Okay, it's time to say goodbye to a lovely circular home in the hallway. And I will just, while we walk out, give you a quick rundown of the community, Emerson College. We're basically gonna have to walk back the way that we came here to get to the bus station, and get back to Gatwick Airport to rent a car, and to start the second part of this trip, the longer part, where we're gonna go to the most sacred places that England has to offer. Like if it's anywhere as magical or close to the magic that happened here in this weekend, or some kind of continuation of it, then I would be very, very pleased. How do you say? It's gonna be anything close to it. It's already gonna be amazing. Source work is basically where the money work is some kind of therapy to reclaim and really harmonize energies by doing inner work on yourself. Personally, I feel that the source work is an equivalent on a collective level for an organization to really come in touch with how the organization, the vision has come to be, who holds the vision, who is responsible for vision and subparts of that vision, on how that gets delegated. And by understanding these principles and following them, you can apply kind of a similar process of healing an organization, or at least identifying certain disturbances or things that could be improved within the organization, to also just make it run more effectively the way that it's probably meant to be run. And that's all based on, yeah, what the name says, who the source of that organization actually is, and how you handle, how you put these people, how they are supposed to fulfill the role that comes with being the source of the organization. And then also talking about how people can hold the role of a specific source, like be sourcing certain parts within the creative field of the global vision that the original or the main source, the global source, is holding. So that's the way that you need to see these different roles a little bit, and by being very clear on who the source of the organization is, you should also be very conscious of that this person is the one that holds the clearest vision on the idea or ambition, or wherever the initiative that source is sourcing, is manifesting, is realizing in the world, has to be taken towards. So for example, there is in startup culture and in all kinds of newer ways of working organizations, there is many kinds of problems that can be identified with this, which lead to all kinds of struggles for organizations. Like, for example, that you would have the illusion that there would be co-founders, that there is an equal contribution of two people to the actual realization of or manifestation of a certain vision, where that is actually not the case. There's always one person that has made the clear first step in starting to take action on this. So the idea can exist, but the first person to actually resonate that much with the idea, understand the idea, and says like, okay, we're going to make this happen in the world, that's the source. Actually, one more part of the day yesterday, the Sunday, and that was also a really interesting and lovely case study. So to kind of like see if we could trace back the thread of the lineage of sources that belong to this initiative. It was really cool how following that thread could make you understand how that could have happened and where the things could have basically happened, and also what would be necessary for this organization, for this initiative, in order to maybe regrow into something new. And that's where I very much realized this notion of it being basically like a group therapy for an organization, for a collective initiative, in that the conclusion was basically that there was never really any conscious moment of closure for when they didn't succeed in finding a successor for the organization. The bus was late just as much as I was, so exactly the one that I had to take came in just in time. So okay, after a lot of hassle, we made it into the rental car. We got it, proper luxury. It's gonna be Very interesting to drive on the left of the road the first time. Made up, we'll make sure we had some supplies. No healthy food at all. This is just gonna be the good old fun road trip.
The Bluetooth is going.
Sometimes you just need to enjoy. The lady was looking a bit weird. Doesn't work out now. And pay good attention to the road. And simple, just like I'm looking at all of you. So, on Saturday evening during dinner, we had a really cool conversation in where I just asked her about her spiritual background and what kind of the key moments were for her in her spiritual development. And that really got me, and then we lead towards her knowledge contribution, the way that she wants the knowledge gap that she wants to fill with her work in this realm of topics. And this was one of the most amazing experiences of the weekend, because what I learned there was something completely new in regards of cultivating life force energy and life force energy. The potential of life force energy express itself through us, and then especially because I'm aware of it in a personal sense, but how this could work in a collective group, an organization sense, that really intrigued me and was something that was new to me. And the way that she explained it is like if you would have yin and yang, the feminine and the masculine energy. That's already a polarity on itself that we are all familiar with, but as well as in yin, in the feminine side, there is an internal polarity, again of feminine and masculine, as well as in the yang side of the balance. So there's also an internal polarity on the yang pole of the yin-yang balance. So in total that makes up 4 different polarities, like a quadrant of different aspects that we need to be recognizing or aware of for ourselves to let things happen harmoniously. And what we mostly know is if we regard to yin and yang and the feminine and masculine, we just always keep it to the holding feminine and the creating masculine. That's our clear understanding. So the holding feminine or the creative masculine is really the masculine side of us that wants to succeed and grow and conquer and really like do and take action and achieve certain things, achieve power and more things. And the holding feminine in that half of the quadrant really supports, creates the space, holds the space for the man to be able to do that emotionally. She supports him in being able to really let these things come to fruition, create have emotional support and listening and enabling certain aspects in the masculine to do this. That's of course the traditional family dynamic that we are very much familiar with and know. But there is an entire other half to this equation that we are not very much aware of, familiar with, and that's that on the yin side there is also the same internal polarity, but then turned around. So you have the creative feminine and the holding masculine, in where the holding masculine is really the energy that holds the vision and knows where to take things, and he needs to make sure that in an initiative this is also that you are holding to this mission, and make sure that things are taken towards it, like really holding the source field, the creative field, which I have been talking about earlier. That's really where that subject touches. And then the creative feminine on that half of the equation is really the one that brings in the life force energy in the initiative, brings the life, blows the life into all of this. And it's quite abstract, and there's not really a very clear way to explain how this happens, but that's really how you need to see it. And all those four things together, they all need to be present within and acknowledged and understood, and you need to be intentional about which of these four you need in which situation to really work with and to solve maybe internal frictions, or to keep them going. And you need to keep all those things in balance to progress. And that's something that we that really adds to the whole creative field, like the whole initiative of an organization, of a collective of people, that if catch everything that this that's part of this. Maybe I want to get a little, yeah, that's good, nice. But we do need to acknowledge that all of them exist, and that we need to nurture them and give them, reclaim them in the right way, make them part of us again. And like that, one side of that is mostly not really taken into account. And I think also that's where a lot of confusion and a lot of all this this all new problems around gender equality and all kinds of gender fluidness and binary, all that stuff, that a lot of confusion is created in the world by not being really familiar with these four quadrants of our sexuality. So, but I'll not sidetrack there. So I also wrote about this in my newsletter. I have myself quite a lot of experience with the power of semen retention and what it can do to really cultivate our male life force inside of us and channel that into realizing our goals, and how to do that and how powerful that can be if you're able to make that happen. But what I never really understood is how women are supposed to be doing this, because they must also have a way to use this to really cultivate this life force. And the way that men are doing it is by semen retention and keeping yourself from losing all that precious life force energy that goes into the production of your semen, and taking that energy back up into your system and letting it go into all of your organs and all of your hormone production systems to really like feel the most alive and become the most creative and focused and powerful creator that somebody can be. But for the woman, that's exactly the way around. They don't need to keep it in, they need to let it all out. Like the way that they do that, like how they let the life force express itself through them, is by orgasming as much as possible. And that was completely new to me, because that's of course what this whole Tantra and Kama Sutra is about. Like how can you as a man, make sure that you perform and hold and provide like sexual stimulation for the woman as much as possible, and then the woman really needs to learn how to how she can turn this into as much of an ecstatic experience for her as possible, like a full body orgasm. And I quickly need to focus a little bit. Oh, there we are. Stonehenge. Stone motherfucking Henge. Henge. Okay. Cool. Join the Yours to Source emo course today. Subscribe to my mailing list and ensure you never miss a step on this journey of spiritual growth. Your path to aligning with Source and discovering how it wants to express itself through you begins here.